Oh my God, you're gonna love it.
Hey folks, welcome to the AI Chicks, where we're providing you cool conversations about AI for all. With each episode bringing you a different topic on how AI impacts your daily life. I'm your host, Aisha, always coming in hot with that fun, unique perspective on tech. And I got my bestie co-host here.
Hi guys, I'm Lana. I'm bringing the curls, the charisma, and that entrepreneurial energy. Today we are talking about AI and software development across borders.
We're getting global, y'all, with Andy Hilliard, and he is the CEO of Accelerance. So let's get into it.
You know that feeling when someone shows up for you just when you need it most? That's what Uber is all about. Not just a ride or dinner at your door. It's how Uber helps you show up for the moments that matter. Because showing up can turn a tough day around or make a good one even better. Whatever it is, big or small, Uber is on the way. So you can be on yours. Uber, on our way.
We are joined by Andy Hilliard of Accelerance. Why don't you tell the listeners a little bit about your background and your company?
Absolutely. Well, I grew up in California, and then I went to school in prep school in the East Coast, and then college in Denver. Started working in Denver for like 4 to 5 years after college. Basically in commercial banking, lending. Why? I have no idea. But, at least I'll get some experience and a paycheck and stuff like that. But anyway, it was only 4 years later that I was having a quarter life crisis, essentially. And I had to change things. I could not live another 50 to 70 years, doing this. And so, I quit banking, joined the Peace Corps. And so that led me down the path to international business and eventually software, because obviously I'm of a certain age where there was pre-software and post-software. I've always been sort of a early adopter, FOMO sort of person. And so when I started getting my first computer in the 80s, and then, the internet happened, Al Gore created the internet, right? And this rapid explosion, I just had to be a part of this. And I also knew that globalization was going to be a part of this, a big part of this. And I know that's where my passion lies, continue to this day, is something that is ever evolving, cutting edge, new every single day. It takes a team, it takes a global team, if you're smart about it, to get the right people with the right skill sets, hyper-specialized skills. And yeah, that's been sort of a driving force in my career. And, today, Accelerance for the last 20 years has been basically helping companies build globally distributed software development ecosystems. Basically, how to think outside of your borders, working as individuals, as teams, to build a collective better whole together, and to appreciate one another, to experience the world through each other. And so, yeah, that's essentially what I've been doing.
Oh, well, that's great. And I love that from Peace Corps to your kind of globalization of your business. I think that's a great way to be so open about working with talent from all over the world.
Yeah, I mean, the AI Chicks, we're global, so we get it. Our parents are from different countries as well. And so we're definitely all about international dynamics and things like that. And so I'm curious, though, I don't know if we prompt AI specifically to touch on the global market, but let's see what AI had to say about AI and software development.
Yeah, this is what Gemini had to say.
According to Gemini, AI is significantly impacting software development by automating repetitive coding tasks, enhancing code quality through error analysis, and accelerating the overall development lifecycle. AI tools can generate code snippets, assist in debugging, and even automate testing processes, allowing developers to focus on more complex problem solving and innovation. This integration of AI is also improving code review processes and helping to refactor code for better maintainability. While AI boosts productivity and efficiency, it is not expected to completely replace software developers. Instead, the future points towards a collaborative environment where AI acts as a powerful assistant, freeing up human developers to concentrate on higher-level design, architectural planning, and creative aspects of software engineering. This synergy aims to produce higher quality software at a faster pace, ultimately benefiting businesses and end users alike.
So what is your thoughts on what AI had to say?
Yeah, AI is automating every aspect of software development and our lives. I agree with it. I mean, we talk about, Microsoft usurps the brand Copilot. I think it's a nice description and good for them to be first to do that, trademark that name. And, the AI is a Copilot in software. It's in our everyday lives nowadays. And if it hasn't already been created, there's companies and people out there creating co-pilots to everything that we do. So it's a collaborative tool, and we're finding new ways to extend that collaboration across all facets of the software development lifecycle, whether it's through business analysis or architecture creation or code generation or QAing or risk assessment and mitigation. Tomorrow's going to look different than today, and next week's going to look different from tomorrow.
I really hyper-focus on the code generating aspect of what AI had to say, because we're seeing more and more in the zeitgeist of companies using AI to do most of its coding. I think Microsoft said that AI is just about 30% of its coding now. Salesforce kind of halted hiring more engineers because of using AI to code and help develop software. When you think about companies such as yourselves helping individuals and small businesses come up with their own software development and their own, it's like whatever capabilities or whatever needs that you have for your company now, you don't necessarily need to go to a separate third-party tech vendor or another tech company to help you with other things. So it's just this interesting factor of how in the long run does it end up impacting the tech industry.
This episode is brought to you by Nespresso and Samra Origins by the Weekend Coffee Collection.
Introducing Samra Origins. My collaboration with Nespresso is a connection to my roots, to my mother, Samra. Coffee that hits the right notes. It transports you. Crafted with unique notes and bold, soaring flavors. Experience a taste that moves you. Nespresso and Samra Origins.
Discover more at Nespresso.com.
I agree with some of that. I don't agree with all of that because, it's like anything in our lives. We have to think that applying something new to something existing is going to change everything. But the point we're missing is the existing part is always also changing too. So we have to think about if we apply AI to everything we're doing today, and then that'll be the new normal. And it's not the new normal because everything's always changing. Not only the input's changing, but the current existence is changing, which means, of course, developing, more features, more software, different types of software, faster, and people are shifting seats and shifting roles. It's still a team sport. It's still massive collaboration of people. It's like, I'm thinking of sports now, and I watched the Warriors last night because I happen to be a Warriors fan, and, Steph Curry changes the nature of basketball, but it's not like okay, well, we take old basketball, we inserted Steph Curry, he changed everything, so just leave Steph Curry out there and everyone else just sits on the bench and watches Steph Curry. It's like, no, now everyone's double or triple teaming him, and you got to change, the whole way of playing is still 5-on-5, and the whole sport changes when the input changes. It's not going to be the same it was yesterday because AI is significantly changing what AI does and what humans do, but it's still a coordination, a collaboration exercise, and then how can you coordinate so efficiently that you can produce faster, better, cheaper, more efficient, and more quantity of what you're trying to do, and more hyper-personalization than you were able to do. So it just really changes all aspects of the way you develop software.
Do you think that by embedding a dynamic in which individuals and small businesses, and technically, I guess, all businesses can now use a company to develop any proprietary additional features or capabilities that they need, I feel like there's some shrinkage that's going to happen with how they're servicing the consumer market, right?
Shrinkage, hyper-specialization is definitely a key driver. And one thing your audience should know is that, I'm not CEO of a software service provider. We don't have engineers. We assess software development companies around the world, and we scorecard them, and then we certify these dev shops that are, I like to say, large enough to scale, small enough to care, typically between 100 and 2,000 engineers. And each of these shops, has a couple of key attributes to be certified, and they have to have sort of thought leadership, business leadership, practice leadership, hyper-specialization in a specific industry or a specific technology stack. And nowadays, we're going through all of our certified partners and say, which ones are AI first? Which ones are, have a center of excellence around AI? Which ones are tangibly making significant alterations and changes for the benefit of the customer that can be tangibly delivered, but also promised to in like a master services agreement, to where you're seeing customer software being delivered faster and having higher quality code and being able to promise lower rate increases year over year because you're gaining efficiencies, and those efficiencies should be shared between the service provider and the client. A lot of people promise the future, but they still build a client, as like in the old school, and they reap the profits, and that's not a very fair shake.
When you talk about the tech stack, that's something I am thinking about for my own business. I am talking about with my clients, and it's really interesting because now there's all these low code or no code solutions, which are opening up a world, especially I think for smaller businesses that might not have necessarily the budgets. But at the same time, I think there's also, to your point, Andy, a certain level of efficiency that it's adding that is hopefully also reducing the cost that can then trickle down to the end user. That's ultimately, I think, one of the advantages and the goals. Now, does that happen depending on maybe the shop that you get your software from? I don't know.
Yeah.
But it's interesting to me because I was thinking in the past, to get custom software was more of an expensive undertaking, so to speak. And you'd have to be a larger company with the budget to really get the custom software, have a purpose for it. And then for smaller companies, they just had to rely on whatever white labeled solutions they could afford and kind of hodgepodge the situation together. You got these plugins over here, these plugins over here, and hopefully it all works out. But now I feel like it's opening up the world because yes, there's low code and no code solutions,
Absolutely.
But could you also get your own custom tailored software for your business way more affordably than you ever could in historical past?
You nailed it. And honestly, this has been my mission in life. We're going through the third revolution. There's the industrial, the internet, and now the AI revolution. And my purpose for Accelerance was to bring global software engineering down to the masses, down to the small cap and mid cap. Well, 95% of the market's small and mid cap. How do they get the same type of cognizant experience when, the rich get richer? It seems like you're being told that it's available for everyone, but it's really not available for everyone. It's only available for the people who can afford it and scale it at huge sizes. So that's been my whole mission. AI is doing the same thing, just to your point. It's in line with my philosophy in small entrepreneurs and mid-cap companies, their ability to produce world-class software. But that being said, there is so much input variables, tools coming in, going out, being acquired, changes constantly. One's irrelevant, one's not. And it is a very chaotic marketplace. And there's still a lot of effort, not to scare small and mid caps away because there's a lot of opportunity, but there's also a lot of coordination.
I actually couldn't agree more. While there's opportunity for these solutions to make your life easier, I think there's still definitely a place for human-led experts to kind of come in and really oversee the overall architecture and kind of give their input and really help small and medium-sized companies in whatever their objectives is from a software perspective. But it's funny, and I think, Andy, you'll appreciate this. I was on ChatGPT and I was building a GPT for my company, for myself. I was trying to do a frequently asked questions document, and I was asking, hey, when you're finished with this frequently asked questions document, put it in a Word document and give me the link to download the Word document. And it was fail. Every time I click the link, fail. So now I'm troubleshooting, me and Chat. We're chatting it up, okay? I don't understand. And so finally, Chat's like, here's the Python code. Okay, guys, I've never studied Python code. I don't know anything about Python code. However, I do know how to copy and paste. And I can copy and paste like the best of them, okay? So then I put in the Python code and it worked. Voila.
You don't need to study Python anymore. Chat will just give you the Python code.
Now, the thing about it is it important to still know Python? Yes, I'm not saying it isn't. This was a very small example of how I used it and worked with the AI to make my life easier. And it was a very small thing. You still need to have someone at the helm that really understands the intricate details of the technology you're building. and where it's growing and where there could be a potential problem and so forth.
AI makes so much more DIY simple, but if you don't have dedicated resources and experts to evolve with that and to understand it, it's amazing time suck, and you're doing a poor job at it because you're not dedicated and you're not an expert. I'll share a quick story this weekend. I meant to spend 15 minutes with AI, and I was bragging to everyone I know about how, like, on Thursday, I'm going in and say, like, tell me everything that's going on in my county over the next 3 days, and, you know, give me links to venues and events and concerts and anything that's happening. And it did, and I was like, this is the coolest thing in the world. I could plan on my whole weekend. And then I started going places, and the people were like, that was last week. How many of these things are failed? And then I started going into conversation with it. And I don't know about you, but I get into real personal sort of like adjectives and comments. And I'm trying to sweet talk them because I don't want to piss it off, you know?
We're big on
but
that
Sam
here.
Altman said the politeness is costing them a lot of millions and hundreds of millions for all the extra thank yous.
Yeah, and Gemini came back with such an effusive apology in so many different ways. Went to my wife, I'm like, why don't you talk to me like this? I mean, Gemini is like so polite, and I said, well, suggest ways in which you can improve this so that you're not giving me bad information. And please double check, and then double check your double check, and then give me specific links. And I spent like probably 15 hours in a 15-minute thing, but you got to do it. And I'm not, I don't want to be doing this every weekend, but I do want to train it. And I want someone working on my team to help do it for us, but also help train us to do it more efficiently. And
I think that's a really accurate point. Yes, while I was able to fix the bug in what I was trying to do, I'm not necessarily trying to spend 20 hours trying to fix it in the back end. I would rather have an expert really kind of come in and guide the process. You and I are talking about some small exchanges we're having with an LLM. That's not the same as when you're really trying to like build out the tech stack of your company.
When you do something right and something simple and where the error is not a high probability, you can expect, 98% efficiency gains and stuff like that. But what you should really expect, holistically speaking, is small efficiency gains based on just the interaction and the learning and the evolution together. There's a lot of pieces in software development and or whatever you're doing. It's like, yeah, but I can get 98%. I'm like, you can in small instances, but if you try to bite off too much, you're going to be disappointed. And frankly, that's not your job or your role. You have other roles, and expect less and expect to put more effort in and have more people interacting with it, and take these smaller incremental gains as an evolutionary success.
Will AI make developers obsolete at some point, do you think?
Whatever the occasion, effortless elegance is right this way. Because Hilton brings you new ways to stay courtesy of the Nomad London. And it doesn't stop at award-winning dining in a space draped in velvet and illuminated by vintage chandeliers. No, this day goes beyond with unparalleled personalized service and attentive hospitality. Oh, and did we mention the Nomad London can be booked using your Hilton Honors points at Hilton.com? Hilton, for this day.
At some point, no, I don't think so. I hear a lot of podcasts around AI, and I feel like a lot of the experts are trying to sugarcoat how it's going to change the human input and the industry as a whole. It's going to significantly shake it up, and a lot of the traditional software is going to go away, and it's going to go away anyway, even if AI wasn't involved, because it's, again, traditional, there's no such thing. It's just a constant evolutionary path that we live on. But it's going to make a much bigger change than, just normal. I mean, it is a revolution that we're going through. It is seeping into every aspect of our lives and of the lives of coders in general. And business leaders like myself, have this mantra to delegate, automate, or eliminate. And we're always thinking of this, and I moved a lot of our personnel that could do work offshore at 80% savings, and then I'm introducing AI to those people so they can at 80% savings they can do 3x what they used to do. We live in a free society, in a capitalist society. This happens. It's happening at a faster rate now.
Also wanted to tap into the myths around AI being embedded into software development. What would you say are some of the biggest myths around how it's evolving right now?
We've been already talking about that. It's not the catastrophic or massive overnight change. There's a lot of hype. Just everyone is rushing towards it. You can't find a website. I mean, heck, you can go to Hostess Donuts and see, AI on their webpage. And I don't know why, but it's probably there. It seems like everyone is pitching
Everyone
it.
just is like slapping AI on their website.
Everyone's trying to game the system. I guess it's just the world we live in. I guess gaming the system has become so commonplace now that people just do it, and because there's no bad repercussions if someone calls you out. Someone may call you out, but still, some of the myth is around just the hype, the speed. I mean, I guess we can go into some of the catastrophic, potential. I'm sure you're a Black Mirror viewer, that stuff scares the crap out of me. And it seems so real and so possible. And that's probably not as mythical as we'd like it to be. If you think about this as a revolution, then you can't be transactional about just using tools, and you have to commit to it, because that's the meaning behind the word revolution. It is the new reality.
What would you say are some of the trends you're seeing specifically in software development? Is it more LLMs and Gen AI tools for specific companies and teams, or are there other trends that are happening?
Generative AI, obviously, for content creation, machine learning continues to be more and more relevant. Prediction, classification, things like that, pattern recognition, NLPs, chatbots, and sentiment analysis, and understanding human relations. All of those things are simultaneous growth areas, that are becoming a part of everyday life. It's really impressive to think about how complex and how nuanced everything we do, and all of it is changing at once. It's usually like, some area is changing with a new tool or a new skill set or something. But honestly, everything is changing simultaneously.
You're known for building global software teams. What are the biggest benefits and risks to offshore your software development team?
I mean, there's a ton of risks. One is, since anyone can flip a switch and throw up a value proposition and splash AI all over their website and try to get your attention, and now AI can create the perfect prompt, the perfect proposal, the perfect value proposition. I always say, get on planes and see people face to face, because we live in a virtual world, and that's dangerous in and of itself. There are literally 30,000 software development teams between the size of 50 and 5,000 engineers. 30,000, right? And that was only 8,000 a couple of years ago. The talent and the hyper-specialization and the value, if you can find the right team with the right business thought, practice leadership, with the right experience, if you're going to be developing software and you're going to spend hundreds of thousands, if not millions of dollars to get to market faster, man, you better have the most well-performing team out there. And so finding a validated service provider who is actually providing tangible results through AI on a weekly basis, showing me their roadmap of investment into AI and how it's benefiting me today and tomorrow, and then building a team that is second to none, that is the most important team of that entire service provider. How can I make my global team happier to be working for me than anyone else that they could be working for? And that team is the best team, and everyone's jealous about my team, and my team lasts the longest, produces the best, and has the lowest turnover, because I treat them the best and then they treat me the best. Then I'm winning the game.
Well, I think we should switch gears for a second and play a game. Okay, so we here at the AI Chicks have the AI Chicks nickname game. And essentially, we give our guests a nickname to induct them into the AI squad, which is our community here.
Cool.
So, Aisha, do you want to start us off with one of the nicknames?
Yeah, so before we get into what AI generated one, I want to throw out the one that I came up with, which is the Accelerator.
I like it.
A little superhero vibes,
Like you're saving
the
small
day.
business every day.
A couple of people have hinted around that should be leveraged more. So now you've sort of reinforced it.
So we first were kind of thinking you have access to all the developers and all the code. So we thought a little bit like Code King.
What do you think about that one?
Nah.
No. Sometimes it doesn't move the needle.
It either resonates or it doesn't.
Okay, well, let's share a couple more that chat came up with.
Yeah, chat. I mean, listen, chat is not good at nicknames. I will just say, Sam Altman. We got to work on that. Okay, we got to work on the prompt. It's very linear. This is so funny for me to say to you, but one of them was Promptzilla. Where did that come from? I don't even know what it was thinking.
All right, well, Andy's shaking his head as a big no. I feel like you have even a little disgust. We'll throw one more that chat was chatting. And, obviously we're talking about software development, engineers, coding, all of those things. So we give them just a general keywords. And it came up with Handy Andy.
Oh, brother.
No.
Lame and old school.
You are an architect in many ways because you really help people do the architecture of their business. We do something classic like the architect.
What do you think? We got the architect and we got the accelerator. Those are the two that are sort of popping up right now.
Well, I mean, really, the accelerator wins because it's tied into Accelerance, and we do help people perform a very complex task of finding, validating, and aggregating the right people, the right talent, the right culture in a relatively short period of time, which one is fraught with risks and dangers, and you could do it wrong a million different ways and spend a lot of time. And if you can do it in a relatively short period of time and get it right, that's kind of the accelerator thing. The other things is just like my story, it sort of makes you stop and think, can I trust this?
All right, you guys, we have the accelerator in the AI squad. So thank you so much for playing that with us. And we have a new great member.
The accelerator.
Before we have to wrap up, I've actually had a couple of parents approach me at different conferences and at panels of like, oh, my kid is, an engineer major or going into software development, but they're worried about if they should really study that or not because of AI. So what do you think the next generation of software developers should be focusing on and should be studying?
For the naysayers and the parents out there, and even the young professionals that are really questioning whether or not they're going to be relevant, software and technology are going to continue to rule the world. There's going to be a place in it for everyone. What that place is, it's evolving more quickly than you can imagine. My suggestion, I have 3 professional age kids now, and 2 of them are in technology. They're also FOMO type of people that like to be ever evolving. They get bored easily. Technology is always changing, and you feel like you're at the forefront of global society. And that's kind of my suggestion. Whatever path you take, whether it's software engineering, fine, pursue software engineering. But just stay on top of things as you will, because if you're an engineer, you like to solve problems, you're curious, you like to investigate things, learn more stuff, and stay on top of trends and evolution and evolve your skill set and constantly be learning.
I love that. That's a big foundation to the AI chicks. We always encourage people to be curious and to try new things. I think there can be some intimidation with AI, especially if people don't have tech backgrounds. And so that's something that we're very excited to promote here. Play with different LLMs and try different AI tools. And you might be surprised what you learn about the tech, but also what you learn about yourself.
Just keep moving, keep light on your feet, keep curious, keep trying things, and then keep assessing your competition.
Would love to also give our listeners some takeaways. So what would you say are some of the examples of how a family, a business can benefit from really embracing AI software development within their ecosystem?
Definitely align yourself with a Gen AI model and start introspection with Gen AI to understand your current trajectory, your future trajectory, what you can do better as a business, how you can build a roadmap for whatever your business is to start involving AI in different aspects. I mean, if you're a pizza maker or something like that, and you're like, hey, I make pizza, I got an oven, it has no impact on me whatsoever. Or does it? I bet you if you're curious and you push yourself, you will find little ways to start to integrate that in various customer relationship management or customer retention or sales and marketing. And I'm like, oh, I made pizzas. And people came to, and they bought my pizzas. It's like, no, there's a myriad of ways of which you can improve the processes of the people that work for you, the people that buy from you.
As you guys can hear, there's a lot of different ways that incorporating proprietary and offshore services in software development can help you out. Definitely make sure to connect connect with Accelerance if that is of your interest to dive into that more. Andy, hope you enjoyed being on the AI Chicks.
You guys are awesome. I mean, I've been on a few podcasts, but you have a really fresh, collaborative way of engaging your guests. I really like that.
Thank you so much, Andy, for sharing your insight and your knowledge on all things software development, offshore, AI. We're just really happy to be able to share your perspective with our audience. For all of our audience, thanks for listening and tuning in. As always, please follow us, listen to the newest episodes, and
make sure to cop that merch. All right, you guys, take care. Bye.
Listen to the AI Chicks on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts. Video episodes are available on Patreon. And check out our socials at The AI Chicks.